Wow. Unbelievable. Just when I thought I had a great entrance. Can you hear me now? This is so funny. All right. Live mic is not working, but is it working now? Are we in now? Yes, good. We hear you. Okay, good. So let me rewind here. I should just restart the intro, restart everything. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Dang it. Okay, so we are on episode 4 of LFM TV. This one we're going to be talking about the cadets and the children and the policies of the policy and abuses of specifically for children and or cadets, and also the must-have in policy letters written by L. Ron Hubbard that they have to be enforced. They have to go in. They have to be enforced. Somebody said too loud. Woohoo. Degraded daughters. Thank you for being here again, y'all. Y'all so supportive. First you get my mic working, then you're here. Let me know I'm too loud. Okay, let me see if I can turn down the mic. And if it's too low, just keep letting me know. All right. I'm just gonna keep going with this. So yes, here we are. Here, I'm going to turn it down a tinch. I'm going to leave it at 112. I like those numbers. Hopefully that works. Otherwise, this shit's going to be loud the rest of the time, okay? Hi, Bubba's. Welcome. By the way, I have these beautiful animals that want to interrupt constantly in my feeds, but it's okay because they're part of my life and they deserve it. They deserve all the naturalness of love. Right, Bubba's? Yeah, this is Bubby's. And her sister is Baby. Actually, Bubby's legs to go up on here. There you go, Bubs. Okay, so hi. Okay, so first I'm going through my routines. I just want to make sure if you guys, I want to be good. I want to get better at this chat thing. And if you guys have questions, I want to answer them on the spot and we can be here, sort of an interactive thing, especially if I don't have somebody with me, chatting with me, that can kind of put me in check on interesting, valuable questions. In the meantime, I did go back on the last YouTube, episode 3, and I just want to answer some questions that came up, as we will do on every episode, just so that everybody, as much as you're hearing my voice and listening to me, I would like to definitely respond to questions, and any questions. The more the merrier. The more we talk about this, the better, like the more healing it is for everybody. It literally gives more people who have been through this the proper direction, their direction in their life. It like lets go of things. It relieves things so that you can I mean, most of us are on our life little travels now that we're out, but it allows you to be a stronger and bigger and better person that we are. So whether it's for me or for the other kids that have gone through this or similar things, this is the way to do it. We have got to speak out about this. We've got to talk about it. And for me, I have been to plenty of all kinds of therapy. And right now, this is very, very healing for me. So I super appreciate everybody in the comments and asking messages or anything like that. And don't feel shy to ask any questions, because I'm here with the truth, baby. Here with the truth. Also, actually, we'll start with that one. Somebody said, something about the goldenrods. Something about the goldenrods. I'm just going to say this color is called goldenrod. And when you're declared or excommunicated, as the outside world would know, when you're excommunicated from Scientology, you are put on a you're put on a bright orange goldenrod. It's not orange. It's called goldenrod color. And baby, can you come here? You're right by the mic, and I just got that working. Baby, Sita, come say hi to the camera. This is Baby, and she's going up. She's going up. Go ahead, baby, come. She's the shy one, but Yeah. So, and I was going to say, she's like a little goldenrod SP too. Hi, baby girl. Oops. Hi. Hi, sweetie. She's a little shy. They were little wild kids when I first got them. So they're doing amazing now. Okay. So anyways, they print this color. Basically, there's all these baskets where all the staff receive like updates or mails or private communications from different executives or jobs on the post on their job, right? So in the baskets, they have these orange goldenrod papers. Whenever there's a major ethics condition or a major assignment, or if somebody's being declared, they are printed on this color. So I actually enjoy this color very much, and I never liked it. I was on tour. I was on tour in a band where the band and stuff wore yellows and just bright, beautiful colors. And I started to get really back into the color of yellow and orange because I started like not connecting it to that. And so now I'm connecting to it in a very beautiful way. We're all SPs here. Okay. SPTV. I like to say SP's safe person. We are safe people. We're out of all the crap. We are saved. We are saved, and we are safe people for you to talk to. So hit us up. Let us know. If you have any questions, if you have any advice, if you have any therapy you want to just, I mean, go get a therapist and do it yourself. But if it has to do with the Int Ranch or the kids at the Int Ranch, then hit me up. I would love to help in any way I can, whether that's getting therapy or just having somebody to be there to support you going through whatever you're going through to get out of Scientology. Okay, so that's the color thing with the goldenrod thing. I'm going to represent it and wear it as much as I can while I'm in my zone, telling our truth and our facts on and through TV, SPTV, where we're not going to get it shut down every time. Okay, so next question was from Tim Harris. What would lower conditions look like for kids? So let's talk about that. Oh, I was going to say, when you're in the chat, if you have a question, please just put a big capital Q ... So then when I'm looking through, I can quickly just go through and answer that. That will be super helpful for me. And yeah, okay, good. Okay, good. So what would kids do? What would lower conditions look like for kids? Basically, it's the same exact formula and the same exact condition formula that is used that any adult or any Sea Org member would use. They're all in the ethics Scientology ethics book. The different all the lower conditions, higher, whatever. But the kids would be doing the exact so. For example, there's a condition called liability, which we were in constantly. Whew, got to sip on that one. Liability has like 3 or 4 steps. One of them is you decide, I think, who your friends. Oh my God, don't make me pull up the thing. Anyways, in there, it says like make up the damage. So you have to make up amends and you have to do physical work and you have to get it approved. At the end of this condition, you have everybody go around. You have to go around the organization, the cadet org or the ranch, and get a majority, which was at the time, it was like everybody. You just had to get everybody's approval signature of approving, saying, yes, you can be part of the in ethics group again. So basically these steps would look like one was deliver an effective blow to the enemy of the group that one was once pretending to be a part of, blah, 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 blah. Because you're going up through these conditions. You'll look it up. I'm sure there's plenty of that talk around here. And so the kids would do things like I scrubbed, the dumpster with a toothbrush, anything that sounds gruesome or like, oh, okay, I really did this to myself to make up the amends so that other cadets and the other adults would approve it. But there could be things like I stayed up till, I stayed up all night. I did an all-nighter putting all the, filing all the school papers or ethics filing. There's all kinds of things, but they're normal. They're normal. They would be the normal jobs or heavy work or tedious, annoying work that people don't normally want to do. And so they're putting this on their conditions as I did this to make up amends. So kids would also be like, it would sound really good if you're like, I scrubbed 40 toilets and bleached all the floors and used ammonia and did all this stuff. they'd be like, oh, good. That's tough work. That's good work. Fox, I'm on a live stream. So she's trying to get me to play with her toy right now in a cute way. So it would just be regular work. And the job would have to be done perfectly. You wouldn't know a kid did it or an adult did it. It would just be done because a Sea Org member got it done the way it's supposed to be done. Which will bring me into another question. Tig says, what is white glove inspection? Let's answer both of these questions at this time. And also, I not only, what an entertainer I am, I would like to show you and talk to you exactly about, oh yeah, Star Trek. Now look at me. I'm precisely Star Trek. So this is a white glove. This is not a joke. Y'all listening? I mean, come see a show. Come see a LARA FM show, and you start to understand these uniforms and why they had such an interesting impact on our lives. Foxy girl, honey, come here. Come here. Come up here. Come up here. I want you to show the whole. Why don't you show the whole crew what you were just having in your mouth? Anywho, okay, go get your toy. This glove is used. What is a white glove inspection? So when you go to get your inspection, or when you go to get an approval, like, okay, for an example, like I cleaned the dumpster or I scrubbed all these toilets. Before it can be done, you get an inspection by the ethics officer, a master at arms, or somebody higher up who can come in and say, with this white glove, they can go anywhere. They can go on a bedpost. They can go to the toilet. They can wipe any surface. They can wipe this fucking microphone right here. And if there is anything else on this glove other than the white glove, it is a flunk. You fail your inspection. Okay? So this isn't just about cadets cleaning their headquarters and making sure it's healthy for them. This is a very purposeful, in writing policy L. Ron Hubbard has created so that a group, no matter what age, what religion, or whatever they think they're a part of, they're going to be following a structure that they think is just a technology and this is how it has to be done, while not realizing they're being groomed and manipulated and formed into thinking everything that L. Ron Hubbard writes is the exact way, and he is an answer to everything you have a question about, all the way down to how to clean in a room or an office or a studio, or how to clean your dorms. It needs, when they say white glove pass, that's what that means. A glove. An inspector comes in at any time and they can put the glove anywhere, wipe it down, and the glove should look as white as it did when the inspector started. Got that? We got that answered, all y'all? We got that? So y'all better go back to your apartments if y'all think you're clean freaks and go get your white glove inspection by going to get your white glove, or eventually just ordering your SP white glove on my LARA FM merch channel. Everything, by the way, I also bring that up. Everything, by the way, is you can go to LARA, LARA.FM, and that is my website. Here, let me just be a professional about this. Go to my website. We're working on everything right now. So just be patient with me as you are here, and you can order eventually all of our fun merch, all of our everything. Until then, just keep an eye out and stay tuned. And there's going to be some fun stuff coming down the halls. Those long halls. Okay, so there you go. Yes, there we go. So we answered that. Is there anything else? Everybody keep me in line here. Keep the FM in line. There you go, Tig. You're welcome. I answered that. Okay. Do I know Nathan Rich? I do know Nathan Rich. I know he has his own YouTube. I think he lives in China or something. I met him. I don't know him. I just met him and his girlfriend when they came to visit Los Angeles. And definitely I watched his videos when people were coming out. I definitely was watching his stuff when he first started. So I'm very proud of him. And I haven't seen him in a while, but yes, I've heard of him, know him, think he's great for talking out about Scientology and all that. Lara needs SPT. If anybody would like to go to Aaron's or the Growing Up in Scientology, and happily, I will take an SPTV mug that I can represent in this channel. So we're not wasting our time with these fruity colors. And yes, and I would prefer the one with the black inside. It's like black and white, and it has the SPTV, as you can see right there, boom, on the mug. Okay, thank you. I do need my mug. Thank you. Okay, so there's another thing. This is a hefty question from Suzanne. Marriage, she said, what was marriage like in the Sea Org? And what did it, hi Fox, ready? Go get it. What was marriage like in the Sea Org, and how was that with family and Sea Org members and all that? She wanted me to break down, for example, my mom and dad are married. And you can only be married to somebody in the Sea Org. You can't be married to a Scientologist out of the Sea Org. You have to be, a Sea Org member has to be married to a Sea Org member. So that's that. My mom and dad in this situation, in the Lara Megan Anderson situation here, they had me while they were married in the Toronto org in Canada. So they've been married, and my brother and sister were expected to join the cadet org and do all that, which they did. And then when I was born here in LA, whether that was so they could have citizenship here or whatever, I was born here in Hollywood, not in Canada for some reason. And then my mom eventually went from LA organizations in 1986 to 1990, was down in here in Los Angeles area, and then went up to the Gold Base, pretty much, and still there. So she's been there almost, I don't know, long fucking time. Excuse my French. So marriage, family, and the Sea Org. So if somebody leaves the Sea Org, that person, that husband or wife, definitely has to divorce that person trying to leave. There's no way, or that person leaves with them, but then they're both either declared, or they're put in bad standings, or they have to go pay their freeloader debt and make up all this amends because they're doing something so bad by leaving the Sea Org. You can't have children in the Sea Org. If you get pregnant, you have to get an abortion, which they will put on you very hard. And many Sea Org members have gotten many, many abortions, which is so insane that this subject alone is not brought up as a illegal, which it is. It's getting brought up, but there are so many forced abortions, and people don't call them forced because they're under this manipulation and abuse of Scientology's technology. So they don't report. They're like, well, I eventually said I'm gonna do it, or I was crying so much and I got auditing long enough that I felt like, okay, this was an okay, fine thing to do, and that I'll just tell the baby or the Satan to come back in another life. So in terms of that, you can't have Sea Org. You can't have babies in the Sea Org. You can't create like a family in the Sea Org. And then if any of your children decide to leave or try to live their own life or grow out of the realms of Scientology, remember that helmet, the umbrella of control. If you try to go out of that at all, you can be wild and crazy, but you got to stay under their umbrella. And if you do anything out of that at all, you're going to get attacked either by your own parents by saying, what are you doing? This is not okay, because ethics has OSA or somebody who's looking does not look directly. They don't go directly and tell me, hey, Lara Megan Anderson, your father's. They have my father come to me and talk to me about it, because I have the deepest connection I have that they have through me is my parents. Just like any human in the world, there's a point in your system where you're going to get manipulated or abused in a certain way if your parents are telling you to do something and you think that's right, or you think you're doing something wrong, you're going to end up doing it. So you're going to feel some ways if you try to leave. So that is a quick answer, I guess, Suzanne, on marriage, family, and the Sea Org. How does that go? That's how it went. They stopped having, they made a policy, or there was a rule by L. Ron Hubbard in 1986, which I was born then. And also, I think L. Ron Hubbard died 1986, February 6th. And I used to joke like, well, maybe I was an ex. Actually, I didn't joke. This was probably a string from my family and their ideas. Oh, maybe you are a past life Sea Org member. But I used to be like, oh, L. Ron Hubbard died February 6th. And then I was born February 12th. Who knows? Anywho. So yeah, marriage, family, and the Sea Org. I can talk forever about that, but I hope that kind of answers your question on like, if you wanted to get a divorce, or if somebody, yeah, then they have to leave, or they stay, or they disconnect. They disconnect from the child. They disconnect. And it's done in a way where like, it's not about like the family gene or the, you know, because it's like they almost were like, we made this agreement together, mom and dad, through and with Scientology. So our goal as a family was always Scientology first. The family was about Scientology. It wasn't, we weren't separately doing our own great thing as a family. This is why I say there was no such thing as home for us. There's no like, oh, I'm going home to see my aunt and uncles. No, there's none of that. It was the ranch. It was the Gold Base. And then it was Clearwater, Florida. And then it's back here in LA. You know what I mean? Out in the real world. So yeah, that was that. Okay. And let's see if there's any more. Oh, somebody said, what did you say there in the force feeding before sessions when you were talking about cleaning the toilets? Whatever. Basically what I was saying is that when I was demoted from CMO, hopefully y'all that are listening, that are new and watching, y'all catch up and put me on times 2, I think it is. You just speed me up talking, so I talk really fast. I probably sound really funny, but you can catch up on the other episodes, just so I'll be getting better and better at this, and I'll be able to just chop through everything. But in the meantime, leave a question with the Q on here on the comments so I can answer it right away, or I will get back to you on the next episode. So any questions here that I miss, I will put on to episode 5. All right. So that question is that I would, and me being sec checked all the time and being put into auditing sessions, there's always this thing that before you go in session, you have to be sessionable, which means you have to eat a bunch of protein and a bunch of vitamins and a bunch of energy, and so that you can literally last through this long interrogation, which they call auditing session. And before you eat, before you start the session, your needle and the roods, everything has to be at a certain point. You have to have enough, your needle has to be showing that you're having enough energy and that it's moving enough for them to be able to read, and that you're there, healthy, and like your machine is it's like ready to handle the bank. It's ready to handle the reactive mind. So before you do that, if you're not sessionable, it's like some of these people would be slamming all these proteins and slamming all kinds of nonsense because there's so much outside nutrition, that information that is so resourceful for naturally building people's energies and stuff. But they were just filling all kinds of people with protein bars and blah, blah, from the canteen. It's like, so when they get out of session, they go to the bathrooms and just like, all I could hear, I know this is horrible to talk about, but like all I could hear as a public areas cleaner was I would keep these bathrooms spotless, and I would just be like, oh, there's another auditor or another PC who was like quickly scarfing their food down, and then they're like going to the bathroom at the end of session because they're just letting it all out. Anyways, it's just gross. It's just like, it's obviously not a natural eating diet and habit. So it was just, I mean, as a, 15-year-old, just so used to this, so used to just constantly hearing just the worst shitting sounds and the worst everything's coming out of the bathrooms from people just going in and out of the sessions. This was just bathrooms for people coming out of the session, going to the examiner, and then going back in session. So that's what I mean. Like even their force feeding of, no, you have to eat this. You're not you're still not sessionable. It's not, you're just being like, oh, just feeding yourself all kinds of stuff that has no like authentic, like scientific, I don't know what you call that, health. There's no health person saying like, this is what you should do. This is just made up crap of how to quickly force somebody to eat this crap. Anyways, the bathrooms would be horrible. So like I said, they were putting me on a job that would purposely and continuously be tedious and hard and like just disgusting. Yeah. So don't say I can't clean a motherfucking toilet, okay? And any kind for that matter. All right. So I think that was that on the questions. Let me scroll through and just see if there's any questions here. If not, I'm going to go on to the ranch topics. Thank you guys all for being so supportive, and it really is like, thank you for being supportive. If you're watching and you just came on and you're watching because I sent you a link or whatever it is, thank you for being supportive. It may not seem like a lot for you guys out there, but it's like emotionally and like it's just so fulfilling and so so needed. I've gone through, like I said, I've gone through all kinds of therapy, and there's something about this with being able to, I guess, just being shut down for so long, like artistically, emotionally, communicating, like just always having that controlled. It just feels like a breath of air, just even, you know, scrolling through and seeing the comments and being engaged with you guys. It's really cool. So thank you. And thank you for all of your future support, and thank you for all the new people. Hey, by the way, if you're watching this, make sure to hit that like button, because I did find out it does help with notifications and for letting people know when I am going live. And if you haven't subscribed, guess what, guys? I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I know that sounds silly. It is silly. It is silly. But there's certain things that I have more access to and that I'm able to do once I get above 1,000, and I have people watch. I also have music videos, guys. I've created music videos as a therapy to when I couldn't say anything. I've created this music. I've created all this because of emotions and tough times and things I was going through. And how could I say this without them really knowing? That didn't go very long, but this you can see from like old videos all the way to now. I did them all myself with 1 or 2 producers on each of the tracks or the albums. The music videos I produced individually with one like, you know, like one or me and another person, and then an editor. Like, so, and we've done most of them on my iPhone, out in the desert with amazing friends. Like, so these are all just loving, playful art, things I was going through, things, you know what I mean? So go subscribe to this channel. You can watch all the music videos, and that enough is already helping me a lot with where I can go with all this. And thank you. And come see a show, P to the S. All right. I'm going to scroll through. I think I've answered some of these questions that popped up. Oh, thank you. Finally, here, I should put this. I finally caught up on your site. Love the music. OMG, the videos are awesome. I'm a fan now. Thank you, Chi-Town Native. See, that's what I'm talking about. Boys and girls. SPTV has been my soul. SPTV has been my soul therapy. I'm with you on that one. I mean, maybe not soul, but it's doing something with me that I think no therapist can do. And as I've seen, not really much other. It's just doing something that it's like you know, we're not sitting here having to like go everybody else's way of how we should heal and deal. You know, I find that very freeing and amazing. Okay, here we go. I mean, these are funny things, but I'm not going to post them because I want to stay focused on the, oh, thank you, Miss Reed, Jen Reed, and your big, beautiful heart. Ugh, love that human so freaking much. Oh yeah, here you are. Goldie posted this. Do you live in the LA area? Catch LARA FM live on July 20th at the El Cid. Not live on here, but I may do a live YouTube stream for that show. So that's a very good thing. Thank you for pointing that out and putting that out. So yeah, sessionable. All right. So I'm just we're gonna, unless I see a big queue and maybe Goldie or somebody can highlight that. I don't know if you can, but anyway. I'm gonna keep going. Okay. So, and we're here at 5:32. Perfect. And I want to keep the streams a little, not too long, because I want to keep a rhythm with my heart and what I can handle and all that. And I've also got all sorts of wild art, crazy stuff going on around me, which you'll never know. Or will you? Cool. Uh-oh. Let me fix that light. Uh-oh. La, na, 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 na. What-oh. Na, 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 na. I love that Sia song. Okay. So, where were we? Yeah, I think we're just gonna I'll do questions near the end. He did pass away in Degraded Daughters. Let's pull this up. L. Ron Hubbard, he did pass away in 1986. It was a strange time for us borns and to be born. Moms in LA wondered if newborn. Yes. No. So I want to say something about that. There was a conversation. My mother audited me. She was auditing me on TRs and objectives at the Gold Base when I was going through some... I honestly, I would just say I was growing up and I kind of was coming to my senses about the whole world and life. And oh, there you go, baby. And I guess they were like, you know, I don't know. I think they just thought, oh, maybe my mom was the only one who could handle me. And I actually don't know the reasoning behind it. I just think that was the reasoning. There's no other reasoning, that maybe my mom would get to me. My mom could heal this. Anyway, she was doing TRs and objectives, which is so strange for your mother to be auditing you. And like the little arguments I was having with her, even like, woo, that's a whole nother thing. But one of these things, two things came up. I do remember my birth. I do remember, I just have this image. I have this image of my head, or this scene or scenario where it's very low lit and there's doctors, and it was in not a hospital. It felt almost like the room that's here in LA that I went later on to look at, but it felt like just sort of like a room, like that it wasn't a hospital room. And I remember 2 or 3 people being there. So I had this visual, and I remember running this out in session with my mom, and she was, I don't know. There were some points I felt like she was trying to be like, like, yes. Well, like, it was just so weird. Like she couldn't tell me. She couldn't tell me. Anyways, fast forwarding faster. There was a point where I was saying like, basically like, oh, you know, maybe I had some sort of win, and I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I was thinking like, maybe I can't remember the past life, or remember because I was already a SEER member. Like maybe I was already, or like not a SEER member, but a Scientologist. Like I was like, maybe I'd already, you know, there was something with this. And then and my mom during the time was like, wow, my needle started floating. And there was something later where I was like, so Mom, do you think that I could have been a Scientologist last lifetime? And she was like, well, honey, you did choose this family. That was her response. You did choose this family. And so I've had this weird, deep must connection of roots of this family being a certain way, where I'm thinking, this is my whole family, by the way. I don't realize I have a whole family. I literally have a whole family tree. Most of them I don't even know about. Like, so like, there was this weird connection. Yeah. Back to the degraded. Like there was this weird thing where it was like, even my mom knows, you know, she understands where I'm from, and that I have this big spirit, and that I chose this family for a reason. This was all about being in the Sea Org and being in Scientology and being connected to that. Yeah. Okay. So then, policies. So I wanted to talk about policies. So KRs, most of you guys know about this. And if you don't, you can, again, look it up in 2 seconds. You'll find out what it is. But KRs happened with everybody. KRs happened with kids. KRs happened with Sea Orgs. KRs happened with Scientologists. KRs, knowledge reports, are always written probably every single day. yeah, with sec checks and all that. KRs, knowledge reports, are written every single day, and kids do this as well as adults. The kids write KRs on each other. It's basically like tattletelling, in like a quick short form. But KRs was definitely used as a discipline. Like basically my mother could write a KR on me, which she did. This is not could. This is a very normal thing. My mother could write a KR on me about even the session I had or whatever. And that KR then goes to the ethics terminal. And then the ethics terminal pulls you in, which means they have you come into their office, the ethics office, for whatever organization that is. And they sit you down with that KR and everything that was written up. I don't even know if that's, I'm writing you up. That would be a thing. Well, I'm going to write that up. Meaning you're getting a KR, it's going to ethics. You're going to be getting an ethics handling, an ethics program. So any of these, anything that ever, whenever there was a KR written on anybody from anybody, whether it was a child or an adult, it was always handled as an ethics point. It was always handled. It wasn't like, oh, my mom wrote a KR on me. It would be a Sea Org member wrote a KR on you and you have to address this. This isn't about the 2D or the second dynamic as family. This is about you being out ethics. So it didn't matter that my mom wrote the knowledge report or my dad wrote the knowledge report on something I told him, because family and that is not a priority. Scientology is the priority. Scientology is the number one. So if I'm saying anything or there's a family member connected to me saying anything, they're immediately completely cut off. It's like either good roads, good weather, like, oh, no, we don't do that. Burr, burr, burr. Or they completely cut them off and they don't talk to them. So in terms of policies and that, so KRs, we have, there's a policy. I'm going to do a little slideshow at some point. That's going to be one of my other videos to do. I'm just writing. I like that idea, a slideshow, so that I can just quickly go through, but those will have the pictures and all this. Of the ranch, and I'll learn how to do that better. I'm getting better, guys, man. The support is the support. I'm getting better at this as long as, this brain has had to hold a lot of unneeded information. I'm trying to get that out so that y'all can bring your new information back in and I can fill this beautiful head with more amazing stuff. Since we missed out so much of our years fucking on this useless crap, useless fucking shit that's created trauma. But there is something about getting through trauma and healing from it that literally makes you stronger than you could ever have been about that subject. So it's like once you get through something and once you deal with it and you really, it's almost like, all right, I can deal with that again. It's not as dramatic. It's not as hard. So yeah. Okay. Rewind, stay on track. So punishment, there would be policies letters, like, for example, the white gloves. That's a policy letter. There's a white glove inspection policy letter about how to white glove your dorm or your station or your, area at Gold. For the ranch specifically, there were main rules like you can't wear perfume, fragrance, anything that's distracting, even just physically to another human. But I think there's some policy, some whatever from L. Ron Hubbard where he specifically talks about perfume or stimulating the track or bringing in back negative things. But anyway, so we weren't allowed that, which actually I very much do not like strong perfumes and fake perfumes. I love natural, beautiful oils and nice, smelly, amazingness things, but no biggie of the fakey chemical crap. Okay, so then there would be like rewards and upstats and like for the upstats. So basically, like I said earlier, if your statistics such as building buildings, digging trenches, building greenhouses, how many course completions were done, etc. If your statistics were uptrending and you weren't a rebel girl like me, then you were allowed to go to the upstat award, which in the beginning when we were younger, or I would say the earlier years of the ranch, we could go to things like Tasty Freeze. I don't know if any of you cadets out there have remembered Tasty Freeze, leaving the Int Ranch to go through the Saboba Indian Reservation to go to Tasty Freeze. It was like this. I just remember it being like this, like cone. I don't even know if it's still there. We should check that out. But go to Tasty Freeze and get an ice cream on the school bus. So we would take the school bus out and it looked like, oh, the kids are just getting, and we, that would be like, we were allowed to have sugar all of a sudden. Like it was just for that trip, for that award, for that thing, we would get that. So that was rare. But when it happened, it's like something we can't forget about. Another thing was like going to the Lion King. I didn't get to go. Me and Christina, there was like 3 cadets that weren't allowed to go. And we were so pissed. I think we ended up blowing after they all went out to the movies. I was like, look, this, I'm out of here. I'd rather go fucking run with the mountain lions. So things like that. Awards would also be like, okay, Saturday nights, you're allowed to watch a movie that was already pre-approved by the adults. Also, there were things like, and not reward. I mean, we would think it would be a reward, but even PE, like even our physical education, as they would call it, PE, which sounds normal out there, but at the ranch, PE was like our free time. It was like our fun. It was like our fun thing. It was like PE, we got to go do sports and have a fun game. So they would definitely take that away as a punishment. So when we say, oh, when you go in, when you'll see that there's like this sports field and all these, and the motels and all these beautiful plays, they look so, no, the kids are cleaning all this. They're making sure every rock is in the proper border. There's making sure there's no weeds anywhere. Everything, if something's out of place or out of line, it's very obvious. So not only are you conformed in this ranch where you literally can't even go out to the outside world, even if you're running away or blowing, you also have so many controlled rules in this thing that if you're not doing those rules, it's very obvious. Like, for example, one thing was we weren't allowed to chew gum. There was this, like, I guess one point there was so much gum because everything is so restricted from us as children that gum seems such a fun thing. So they got rid of gum for like a long, it was like, once we can see you guys have your act together and you guys can be adults that can really chew gum properly, then we'll give it back to you. But so they took that away. There was no sugar allowed at the ranch. The only sugar we would get would be like whatever was the natural things for a little bit. Eventually they took this away, but you would buy it from the canteen that was already the canteen that is run by a cadet. All y'all know what a canteen is. And if you don't, it basically was like a little closet or like a little room that you open the door and the front door, you know, it had like a little front, you know, the lock, and then this door would open the top part and you'd be like, Ben Weber or somebody would be there like, okay, what do you want? And you would have to spend either the $7 pay. If you were an upstat cadet or a child, you would spend that $7 pay in the canteen getting the snack or whatever you wanted. So it's not like the money we are making is like going back out into the outside world to like go get things we need. It was just, here's $7 pay. If you, I rarely got paid. I very rarely remembering signing anything or getting money at the Int Ranch as a kid or a cadet or whatever you want to call it. I just, whether that was because I was always in ethics trouble or I was always in the children's group or the governors group, which never got paid. It was just that. So we're putting our money back into, so we're still confined onto the property of the ranch. We're still, our whole world and mind is there. And when we do go to an upstat award, like a outing, going out to Lion King or going to see some, you know, IMAX film or whatever it is, it's very much controlled. Like, were you upset? Are you being good? Then you can go. It wasn't like you need to go. This is an educational thing for the school. It was taken away because it seemed fun and it had a movie or a group, or we had to go on the bus. And same with Christmas shopping. We would get money from our parents to go for the one day on the few hours that they would let us go to Walmart or these like quick little stores on the bus. Do 1 or 2 hours shopping, buy the thing for our parents that we think they might want with their money, and then come back. Anywho. So I'm going off on that. But that's where even financially, if you didn't get paid, you just rely on your parents if they came on Sunday to see you. And hopefully they have a package of socks and maybe some underwear that say Tuesday, Monday, Wednesday, because that's also another thing. It was like little things we could enjoy, like not having uniform underwear. Like I would be like, oh, Mom, I love the Monday and the Tuesday. Like, so, and then even later on in the year, she was still buying me this. I was like, Mom, I'm like 10 now. I don't want these Tuesday underwear. You know, so there was definitely a disconnection of the parents being around and in the kids' lives. You can't pick up a phone and call them. You can't, you know, the Int Ranch phone was not an Int Ranch phone. There was no, like, we weren't thinking, oh, the phone is in the adult's office locked up with a code. So you pick up the phone and it will go dee, 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 until you put a code in, and then it'll go, okay, now dial the number you're trying to reach. So everything's locked up. There's no way. There's no way to reach out or even begin to think, maybe I'm not in the best situation right now. There's no way to reach out to a family member. There's no way to reach out to a non-Scientologist, period. Yeah, so upset awards. And that was the same thing for, libs, liberty. They call that liberty means you get a day off. You got approved by your executives or the executives in your organization, whether that's a gold base or whether that's Int Ranch and you're a cadet or in the governor's group. By the way, if you were in the governor's group, you wouldn't get any days off, any libs days or anything with parents or not. Didn't matter if they came and they got approved from their execs at the gold base or whatever, or an RTC, it doesn't matter. You're in the governor's group. Oh, it looks like Colleen is the only one who's going to be hanging out with Dad on libs, my sister. Anyway, so all these are constantly. So another thing would be like, like brushing or playing with the horses. We were allowed to do that. All these, like I will show some photos. I think I showed one earlier of the kids and the horses and being around these animals. But part of that was the animals need to be well cared and taken care of as much as you can without spending Scientology's money. So very low on the financial, but also because it looks good to have animals and these, you know, horses and the kids interacting with these animals to outsiders when they come onto the property and they see a well-kept and really nice cleaned property with these children who seem to be happy and smiling and curious and, you know, very attentive with communication and whatever they're being trained into acting and being. And then so I just lost my train of thought there. So, but you have these things, there's a certain mode, certain switch, certain thing. There's no way for the outside world to come in here and help these kids. There's no voice for the kids to come out. It's purposely being blocked by L. Ron Hubbard policies and then by the Scientologists and the Sea Org members that abide by those policies. Yeah, I kind of talked about this question on previous things. We would go to see our parents would be about a 2-hour amount of time, whether that was going from the Int Ranch to the Gold Base or going from the Int Ranch to the Devonshire or to the Kirby or to one of the Sea Org designated apartment buildings. It would only be about a 2-hour span of time that we're hanging out with the parents, we're doing whatever. So, oops, I just lost something. So being with the family or having family time in all of the time we ever are hanging out with them would be either on a Sunday morning for the 2 hours or 2 hours, you know, on a Saturday night, the night before. It's not like we're spending the whole Sunday with them. Oh, it's not like once a week. You know, it's if they catch the bus and they finish their job and their post and all the things they had to do before they were allowed to go see their kids. If they got that done, then they go and catch the one bus that's outside of the apartment of the Sea Org dorm buildings that goes to the Int Ranch, drops all the adults off. They go do whatever, which is riding horses or my mom and dad knew I loved animals. So most of the pictures I'll be showing in the next episode or the next one, will be of us, you know, with the goats and with the animal. These are the only times we're having freedom. Pictures that you see were taken because it was a moment of joy. And if it wasn't a moment of joy, it was a moment of like deep concentration that had nothing to do with Scientology. It had to do with like an animal or, you know, or an adventure or playing sports or physically making something or playing basketball with my dad and brother or whatever it was. Those were the moments of joy. And most of the time, my mom is still obsessed, like really loves photography. So she would be disappointed taking pictures of us if one of us were just like chill or like, okay, hurry up, take the picture. We want to go play. We only have this much time. And she'd be like, honey, you're not smiling. That's bad PR. You know, you have to have good PR. We need, like, my brother would joke sometimes and just be like frowning or something. And my mom would make a joke like, Jarrett, you ruined the photo. Come on, let's do it again. And she would laugh. But her intention was like, no, don't create any bad PR. This is for the family and the outside world. They need to see that we're having fun and that you guys are being productive and that you look joyful doing whatever you're doing. So yeah, that was that. Horses, blowing, bareback. I just have a bunch of random stuff here. We weren't allowed to use the microwave. We would have to get the adults to press start on the microwave. Little things are controlled. We weren't allowed to use the toaster. Only the adults were allowed toast because it would be too much work to make all the kids toast, I'm assuming. But yet we're capable enough to dig trenches and build greenhouses and scrub dumpsters with toothbrushes and scrape maggots out of the most nastiest shit and scrub toilets and and everything. Yet we cannot press start on the microwave or have toast for breakfast because that's only for adults. Children, cadets, policy, and abuses. None of them make sense. L. Ron Hubbard writes a policy about spanking children and says the governess may spank or discipline the children as he or she sees at any time, at her or his free will. But yet we're not children. We're governess now. So when does the policy apply and not apply? Like when it also says children do not get paid, which meant if you're in the governess group, you're under the governess, which means you're a child under the governess group. That's what they're trying to put it as. Like, if you're going to act like a child, we're going to treat you like a child under the governess, not like a child as a child would outside in the outside world. Yeah. So I'm getting through this. Tasty freeze, microwave, no sugar, the gum, the toast, adults only. There was definitely a deep connection with the animals and food for me. I loved the animals at the ranch, and I also loved eating. Like, and a lot of times I would be in trouble or I would be, you know, under watch or something like that. And the food restriction was like, oh, you're only getting this, or, you know, the upset, the people who run the table or are doing well, they'll get first and you can have seconds, or you're in the governance group, so you're only getting these scraps after everybody else is fed. It wasn't about having good food or not. It was like the food, even if it was good, was still controlled as to how much we got and when we were allowed to eat it. It wasn't just like, oh, there's an apple in the kitchen. Oh, I'm hungry. Let's, you know, grab a snack. It's not like that. It's not like you're at a house, you're at your mom's house or at any kind of house where you're just like able to just eat and enjoy your life. It's everything has a portion, everything has a time to be eaten, when you eat it and when you don't eat it. If you're caught eating something off schedule, that's an overt. You're then writing that up in ethics. Oh, I snuck granola from the bucket without asking the services secretary and put it in my pocket to hide it. That was the withhold. And now I'm running to muster and I'm eating it sneakily in the classroom, in the course room. And that's why I'm in ethics now. I'm in ethics trouble. I'm handling this because they caught me eating in the L. Ron Hubbard course room. I realize sometimes I'm like bubbling up because I'm like in the middle of it. And also when you're in the middle of it, you're remembering the whole scenario and the scene, and you're remembering who was saying no and why. And it's just, It's a lot, guys. It's a lot. Yeah, so horses and all that. There was a deep connection with animals that I didn't have, obviously, with Scientology. I mean, there was sometimes where my dog, there was a dog named Teddy that I ended up basically taking care of. And I felt like he was one of my best friends, like friends. I thought his soul was connected to my soul. I was like, love this dog. I taught this dog how to respond to my whistle, and taught him how to do the shakes and the sit down and everything I do with my dog today. I learned from teaching myself and this dog when I was younger at the cadet org. So I had a deep connection with the animals and the horses, and whether they did that to make it look like the ranch looks like a beautiful, place for children. And look, they have horses, and why would it be such a horrible place if they have horses and all these animals to take care of, So certain things were definitely done on purpose. There were also manipulative things done, like, if you're not going to do this, or you're not going to finish this course, you're going to go to ethics and you're going to get your PE time canceled, and you're going to get your animal rights taken away. So I'm not going to be able to take care of any of the animals, and that they're going to find somebody more upstat and suitable to do the job, because I obviously deserve to be scrubbing dumpsters. They also would say things like, you can go to the animals, or you can do a research project, or you could do a course and do this research project and learn about these things if you're upset. If you're in line, then you can do these things. If you don't, then you're not doing them. And it wasn't about education or connection or anything. It wasn't about, you're a kid who needs to go see your parents or your daughter, or maybe, whatever. There's no view of this for the children. This is completely missing. This is the big hole and fear that we have in our hearts about speaking out about this now and about doing anything like this. It's all this constant trauma, constant controlled hypnotic trauma that was constantly put on us so that we would never fall out of this cycle and just stay under the umbrella. You feel like you're growing because you're doing other things that you're getting away with. But for me, eventually, I'm like, I'm a wild fucking child. There is no way that there was no way that my energy was going to be able to hold all that. There's no. Okay. So in terms of disciplines and policy, there would also be like, if you were late for muster, discipline. If you were late for course or anything, if you didn't finish your cleaning station in time, if you were out of uniform. There was a point when Mike Brown came to the Int Ranch because he was told, oh, the last time you were here, all the ethics was in, and there was some other adults pulled to the ranch to get the ethics in of the cadets and bring them back to where they were really strict, and basically where they weren't just getting away with running off and all these things. And Mike Brown came and enforced all this back in, and him and they just went nuts. They just went really hardcore. Basically, like enforcing all the policies and the rules. Like, this is the policy. Whenever you have a disagreement, here's the policy. This, so it was never, there was no questions. There was no like, you're not supposed to be doing that. There was kids like, there was a time where there was this chick, a cadet. I think she was about 12 or 13 at the time. Her name is Amber Porter, and Kasavius Tabioyan and Martin Hobscheit, who were both adults at this time. Kasavius definitely being the younger one. Martin Hobscheit being at least 35 or older, dragging this 13-year-old while she's screaming and like, fuck you, like having a site meltdown, pulling her to go behind the bushes of a big tree while we're all digging this trench, and we're all like, oh my God, Amber's not following the orders. And she just started backflashing, as they call it. And so he said, that's it, you're getting a spanking, and dragged while she's screaming, dragging her. This was very normal, by the way. I'm just telling this story because this is a moment I'm remembering. Dragging this 13-year-old behind the bushes to pull her pants down, to spank her as fucking hard as they could, and to show everybody else oh, you think that we can't do this to govern it? She's not a cadet. She's not an adult. She's not even a teenager. She's a child who is under the control of the governess. And we decided she's backflashing. So she gets this fucking torturous, insane spanking. And every single time she's swearing, they're adding the spankings to her discipline by these men who are fucking forcing her to do this. And then when she's done, she's completely just so gone and in such a mad, irate state. But she wasn't talking. She was just so psychotically pissed, and then went back to digging trenches, and she wouldn't dig trenches. So then Martin Habshite started making her dig and forcing her hands to do it. It's like, oh, you're going to act like a body. We're going to treat you like a body. So all of this control is under all the policies, all the abuses, anything that you hear as a policy or that you think is an abuse, it's all written by L. Ron Hubbard and is enforced by every Sea Org member and every Scientologist. So if the Sea Org member sees a Scientologist doing it, they're going to get their ethics in. And if a Scientologist sees some other Scientologist, they're going to write the report and get their ethics in. So, whether these men were being abusive or not to a 13-year-old child, none of that has anything to do with anything. That doesn't even come up. That's not even an issue. That's not even a legal issue. That's not even a law issue. That's nothing. It's like, no, this child is dramatizing and being out ethics and causing interbulation. So we're going to pull her and drag her while she screams because she knows what's about to happen. She's fucking screaming and trying to get them off of her with her life. And they're still going to make sure she goes over and does this. This happened all the time. All the fucking time. Yeah. And then having like these big men just take over, like to do that to a child and to also be like, oh, well, they're just following L. Ron Hubbard policy and this is what they have to do. It's just like, there's a certain point where even if L. Ron Hubbard was trying to do something right, and I'm only saying this for the viewers that are Sea Org members and Scientologists or have people connected to them, if he was trying to do it right, if he was trying to make this work, if he was trying, then there would be care, there would be listening, there would be elements of the law being allowed to come in. There would be there would be no hidden protection. There wouldn't be anything hidden. If you're trying to make something better, what are you hiding? And all of this is covered up. And there's policies where L. Ron Hubbard says you do not talk about this stuff. This is the stuff that causes bad PR for Scientology. So and the outside world is not going to get it. They're going to think it's something else or that we're a certain way or that we're acting a certain way. Because it is that way. And Scientology wants you to keep this thing that Scientology has. It's okay. It's okay for cadets and children to be treated like this because it's per the policy. And L. Ron Hubbard knows how to handle the world and to clear the planet and to make this right. So we have to follow his policy 100%. Because if we don't, then it's not going to work. So you have people who are born and raised in this as cadets, then becoming adults, and then repeating and doing the same pattern and repeating the abuse and not talking about any of this. Nobody's talking about this. We need to bring up all these details. What does it feel like? What was it like? Otherwise, people understand in the outside world, nobody's going to get to hear this from anybody stuck in Scientology or in the cadet org. They're never going to talk about it. Anyways, okay, moving on. There were also just physical things like what we would use on a normal day, every single day. After lunch, how would we clean the tables? How would we clean the mops? How would we clean the sponges? All the chemicals we were using. We use bleach, ammonia, degreasers, like a bariatric acid to get grum and like all these things to make sure you had a white glove pass inspection. You could lick the fucking toilet with your tongue. This is no joke. You could lick the toilet with your tongue. Is that clean? And this is normal. This is just what a normal kid through their whole childhood is surrounded by. Chemically, every day, every kind of normal cleaning agent that you would use but the purest one. So ammonia, bleach. It wouldn't be like a laundry cleaner with a little bleach, and it would no fragrance. It would be the pure chemical to get whatever it is that L. Ron Hubbard says, you must use this for this, vinegar and this for windows. He has everything laid out. This is what kids were using. No gloves, nothing. Just here's the spray bottle, here's the sponge, start. And if there's anything else, you figure it out. You figure out how to get all this shit off. It was just you're a spiritual being. You can figure it out. You're very capable. You can handle this mess work. Oh man. Okay, so we talked about that. We talked about all the movies and our quote unquote Upstat Award and free time. And there's more where I'm going to talk about more, most likely on the next one, about Clearwater and about how the abuse seemed normal over on Clearwater as we're coming out of the cadet org at the Inn Ranch and joining the Sea Orgs. And then how we were recruited to recruit other young underage people who also were manipulated by their parents to be in Scientology. And they think, oh, I'm not a good Scientologist because I'm not in the Sea Org like these other young people who are already giving their lives to doing this. They signed billion-year contracts to do this. So we'll get into that on the next one. But I just wanted to answer all of the kind of normal questions and things that come up just from the cadets' point of view, from kids at the ranch, policies, and the abuses. The abuses that are done at the ranch are always okayed through L. Ron Hubbard's policies. There's always a policy that says, like, if it doesn't say specifically for children, there's an ethics policy that says you can give Joe a black eye, and it wouldn't matter because he was out ethics. And we don't allow that in the Upstat group, or any Scientologist can beat or hurt or ruin any other Scientologist's life if they go against Scientology, or if they leave Scientology, or they're suppressive and they want to talk out about it. That's a policy letter. You may destroy or damage another person's life in any way without getting in trouble. We'll bring all these policy letters soon, but yeah. This is that. So I think I'm going to finish on that note. I mean, it's 6:10. I don't want to go late. I just wanted to catch up on all those questions about the Inn Ranch and policies and abuses. And I'm sure more of these topics will come up on the next episode, guys. Okay, so let's quickly go into questions, and then I'm going to bounce off of this and then come back and do it again another day. If you want to stay tuned on you can do the notify me when I do post it, but I almost always post it through my IG. Oop, here you go. My IG, LARA FM Music. You can message me directly with questions, or you can see where our upcoming shows are. The flyer is on the website, which is here. And if you have any information or questions, you can email me. All the information is there on the website. You can also donate, and you can do support chats or whatever it is until I get all the YouTube donations and all that running. You can donate and everything through the website wherever you find a donation link. All right, guys. Let's run through these questions. I see some cues, so let's do these, and then I'm gonna bounce off. Laura, thank you. Aw, Laura, I really love your energy. Thanks so much. Thank you. Question: was there any point that you saw yourself as not your parents' kids, since you're supposed to be, excuse my term, supernatural, being not a child? Adults and children were looked at as the same. I did question it. There was something about, I questioned it being like, maybe I just chose this family. Like maybe the Anderson family was the proper group to join, to come through as a spiritual being into the baby body, because the Sea Org and Scientology is what I wanted to be connected to. So it was almost like Scientology and the Sea Org was bigger than the idea of being connected to my family or being being like DNA related to my family. So I didn't think about it like that. I just thought it like I chose to be part of this family that has this big purpose, and that our family is really close because we're just fun and cute and sweet and have all these little moments. And but together as a family, we chose it. So specifically our family is like uniquely important, I guess. But yeah, I hope that answered that. Yeah. Oh, yes. I also want to say, I do want to shout this out. For current Scientologists, the Aftermath Foundation is there to help you if you are trying to figure out the best way to leave Sea Org or Scientology, and you have deep connections either through family or people or friends even that you have stuck in there that you're trying to not lose, or you're trying to find a safe, easy way out. Go to the Aftermath Foundation. They have all the resources and volunteers that will help you get through that, whether you want to do it confidentially or openly or whatever. Easy. Just contact the Aftermath Foundation.org, or you can call 956-752-8484. Cool. I think that's it. Do we have any more? Oh, if you're doing the right thing. Exactly. Yes. Yes, I agree. Sorry, I'm just shuffling through, guys. Nope, not gonna worry about any of that. Okay, so cool, guys. I think I answered them all. Amazing schmazing. Let me see if there's anything else. If you have any information, again, on the Int Ranch or the Cadets, or any photos or old photos, please send them to me. You can email them to me directly, LARA, LARA, FM, music @gmail.com. Or you can call the hotline and leave a message. Let me put that there. Call the hotline. Leave a message. Yeah, leave a message. Let me know if there's anything I can do to get the information, or if you're going through something or something's happening and you want me to know and you want to keep it private, you can call me on there, leave a message, and I'll call you back. All right. Love you all. Thank you all for watching and supporting. Like and subscribe to the LARA FM channel, and stay tuned for number 5. Ciao, bellas. Oh, wait. I got to end you out with this. I forgot about my thing. All right. Love y'all. Bye.
Somebody is searching for the right child. Somebody is telling you what's right. Now you're going to have to decide what you're gonna do the next.